This is the Willises, by the way. My wife Laura, daughter Annika, and her friend Jonas. So basically what we have as far as range, I charged it up to 100%. We got the car in September of 2018, the very end of September. And as far as miles, we got 7,200 miles approximately on the car. So we have about 96% of that battery calculated. We've only charged it to 100% like one other time, and it was showing 298 miles. We do have a dual motor, all-wheel drive Model 3 long range. So with the 19-inch wheels. So right off the bat, one thing that we're noticing is our regen is pretty weak, and that's due to the battery being so full. So it's not typically a good idea to charge this much, but I wanted to make sure that we had enough for the trip. When the battery gets either cold or really full, you'll see all these dots here. All these dots up the top bar will tell us our level of regen. So we put the car into autopilot just to give you a little more data, a little more information as far as conditions. What's our wind speed like, sweetie?
Right now it's 15 miles per hour from the south, and it's expected to get up to 22 miles per hour today.
Okay. And temperature?
The temperature is 73, and we have a high of 84 to 85 degrees.
So we're just cruising along, and I'll tell you what, we're loving this autopilot. We didn't purchase it with the vehicle, we purchased it afterwards. But ever since the upgrade to the autopilot, it's a game changer. Just so you guys know, it is version 9 2019.8.5 is what we're using. What are you doing back there? What I like to do is when this notification comes up, okay, apply light force to steering wheel, it'll start flashing blue, is instead of touching the wheel, I can just push the volume up or down and it'll kick it off. So I don't have to physically grab the steering wheel. It knows I'm paying attention. So yeah, we'll kick back, relax a little bit. I'm too scared. Just can't let the car do that part. Did I show you that video of the guy with the Model S that was driving, and basically like the lines went into the concrete barrier real slightly and he ricocheted off of it? Like, did I show you that?
No, you told me about it, but I also think that the system's been learning from it, because like I said, when I was driving on I-40 and there was construction and the line kind of went into the concrete like you were describing, I kept my hands on the wheel, but I went ahead and let the car go ahead and keep driving itself, and it seemed to do fine.
Drive with caution. Okay, so we got 42 miles left on the trip. And just to kind of show you here, so it's something we've been using to gauge our actual miles that we're getting. Now we're heading into 15 to 20 mile an hour winds, so it's decreasing our range some. For the trip so far, we've been going 298 kilowatts an hour. If you go down into the settings menu here, and you hit energy, you'll get a graph, and it'll show your average kilowatts per hour for the trip, and the approximated range. I have it set on 30-minute intervals on average range. You can also do instant range, which will change your projection to see more in real time how your driving is affecting your range. but for what we're doing, we're using average. So we're averaging 162 miles an hour based on our kilowatt hour. Really, ideally, you want to be around probably around the 250, 260, 270 range. This being a dual motor all-wheel drive, it's not a performance variant, but it is heavier with that extra engine. So you can see our battery showing we have 187 miles left, but our projected range is only 161 miles. Okay, we are getting close. What is it? What is it called, Annie?
The National Performers Academy class meeting. Who told the wireless companies that all we were interested in was fancy gadgets and colored jewel-encrusted phones? It wasn't me. All I want is great network without having to pay a fortune. That's why I chose Verizon. It's all the service without the bells and whistles. Verizon, they never stop working for you.
We've arrived. Okay, now we got to go charge. So the only real charger here in Lubbock that we've been able to find that's operating on Sunday is at Best Buy.
Now turn right onto 62nd Street.
Okay, it's only 3.3 miles away. We have 131 miles of range. Okay, so this is a charge point. We're at Best Buy. I just got it plugged in, and we got somebody else next to us here, which looks pretty interesting in a Bolt. We're only getting 6.6 kilowatts an hour. So we're getting 21 miles an hour. So let's see what this is all about. What's going on?
What's up, man?
What do you got going on here?
Really nice Model 3, and I'm a little bit jealous. I admit it, right?
I'm Paul, by the way.
I'm Brian. Good to meet you.
Brian, nice to meet you.
At Negative Carbon on Twitter, just in case anybody wants to know. I'm here in Lubbock, wherever the heck in Western Texas that is, with obviously one of the only chargers. That's why we're meeting.
Right.
With this Model 3. Paul just came down from Amarillo, and I'm going up there, and he said he faced a headwind, so I'm facing a tailwind. So I got thumbs up for that. I've been here for, I don't know, maybe 5 hours trying to charge this thing, and it's hot, and we don't have a canopy, which we should have over the top of here.
Right.
Solar canopy. This car has been 7,000 something miles in 19 days. And
Wow.
So this is the Negative Carbon road trip. It's hard to do.
Awesome. And you're doing a tribute for Ozzy, right?
I'm doing a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne because it's the Close My Eyes Forever tour, because people have been closing their eyes to this global warming thing. People don't know about the electric cars, so I'm putting it in the most prominent spot in the parking lot, and people ask me about the car. We got his card. You can't get Ozzy a card because there's too many people that love him, so we got people signing from all over. You know, I've had this book for like a week, and
Oh, that's awesome.
There's I don't know how many signatures. There's tons of them. There's pictures throughout it. People pick a page and sign it, you know. So, and they all put little messages to him because he got sick, you know, he almost died.
Right.
And he had to cancel his tour and stuff. So, this is an Ozzy trip. We got some Ozzy lyrics on the top of it. They're paranoid, you know. and the oil industry ought to be paranoid a little bit about these cars, because these are better than those. Especially that one. Like, I'll trade you if you want. You know, but
I bet you have more miles than we do.
This one actually, this is the first generation Bolt. 17, and it's got, any guesses? How many miles? 17, remember?
So 17, 67,000 miles?
Good guess. 72,785.
Okay.
So, I mean, in 2 years,
Yeah, that's a lot of driving.
that's good, you know. And I've just had it for 19 days, like I said, so. 'Cause it's a Maven car. Sort of see it.
Right.
They even got all upset. They're like, what did you do to our car? You know, because it's a rental.
Right.
And they're like, well, I'm like, look, I'm trying to, you know, increase the publicity for these things. So,
Yeah. Awesome.
There's oh, I got to show you one more thing. Like, you'll like this.
Okay.
I'm probably going to be the only person that ever brings Ozzy Osbourne butterflies from Key West.
Oh my gosh.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Those
Check
are
it
real.
out.
From 8 different countries. Like only God can do it. Look at the colors.
Yeah, that's cool.
Those are beautiful.
Yeah. We always use the word impossible with the greatest of caution, especially when Elon Musk is involved.
Absolutely.
So that's the thing.
Cool. Well, hey, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Laura's going to sign the book for Ozzy.
Nice.
Okay, so while the car charges, we're hanging out at Best Buy, and we found out that the Oculus guy is here. So we're going to go see if we can demo the Oculus Rift.
A product made to be run without a phone or a computer. You can watch Netflix on it, Hulu on it, and you can have other experiences like Discovery VR, as well as even New York Times is on it, so which is pretty great actually. And of course there's a bunch of games, close to about 400, 500 games.
It's time to go pick Annika up, so we're about to leave. So I calculated what it took us to get here. We were probably averaging 76 miles an hour with a headwind at 15-mile-an-hour winds. And we charged for a couple hours, real slow charging rate, 21 miles an hour. Right now we have 162 miles in range. It took us about 164 miles from what was said here. So we didn't get quite the efficiency that the car said we should. Of course, we're going at highway speeds, and I kind of know to expect that being a Tesla owner now. So we should be cutting it a little close to get back, but we're out of time, so here we go.
It actually started out charging 19 miles per hour. It finally jumped up to 21.
Lubbock, you need a Tesla Supercharger. Okay, we got the crew.
Yeah.
How did everything go?
It went good. I got positive feedback on everything, and yeah.
Like what?
He said I had good volume, and I was moving around well. I used my hands instead of staying in one place and being still.
We got 158 miles range. Navigate to Jimmy's Egg, Amarillo, Texas. Okay. Let's let it calculate here.
Now turn right onto 62nd Street.
Stay below 70 miles an hour to reach destination.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Okay, let's see what we got. We're not heading into the wind. It's giving us a tailwind. So I think we're going to be able to make it. But I'm sure the car will let us know if we're not. And to add to that, there's a place. What is it called, Lord?
It's called Choice. It's like CHUY''S.
What it said it had there?
It said it had an EV charger.
Did it have an EV charger?
No, it does not. Not anywhere.
What did we do?
We went inside. Well, I was angry. You were calm, and you asked everybody about it, and inside, and they had no idea what we were talking about.
So we left a negative Google review because there were no reviews. So you know not to go there. So
Yeah.
there's no EV charger there.
No.
And Tesla's coming with one towards the end of the year, but it's not in
Now
Lubbock
take
yet.
the Interstate 27 North exit on the
We're gonna
right.
exit. Let's go exit. It exited. So we're gonna get up to 75. We'll see how this goes. it is again. Stay below 70 to reach destination.
So right now, we are going to get behind this semi-truck. And we are going to see if Mythbusters was correct and whether or not this semi-truck helps our range by creating a wind block.
Okay, so we're gonna try following this Benny Keith truck. So our current projection is we're projected at 160 miles of range, which is, we've just been behind the truck for a second. We're showing 146 miles. So from what I could tell, this is already benefiting us. That's in a 30-minute time frame. In a 5-minute, it's 175 miles. And our instant range is showing a little lower. So we'll show progression on this. A second ago it said stay below 75 miles an hour to reach our destination, which is perfect, so that went up. And it's projecting 142, and it's showing our ranges, or our battery life is 122, so quite an improvement there. Living in northern Texas is extremely flat and pretty boring, really. I'll show you on the map kind of what this area looks like. There's a lot of farming area, and we'll just kind of expand this. Kind of show you, that's our area, and you can see we're testing superchargers. We're pretty, this area is pretty sparse. We have one in Amarillo, but you know, to get a lot of them, you have to get into the Dallas area or over into New Mexico. There's quite a few over there. Let's see if autopilot can handle this work zone. I just can't do it. So every time that autopilot disengages, Tesla learns from that situation as to why, and if there was a problem, which there really wasn't a problem with the autopilot, but you know, that enters its machine learning for the autopilot system that's coming up. So that's pretty good. That's pretty cool that we're feeding it data, especially for this area, where I'm sure the amount of Teslas driving around are far fewer than in areas with dense population, like in Texas, maybe Austin, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. Okay, so we got 43 minutes left in the trip, 46 miles. What's happened is our range is kind of leveled out, showing 77 miles and projected of 80, so that's gotten a lot closer together. So I think we're gonna say our goodbyes to the truck, and yeah, continue at 75. So it's showing that we'll have approximately 10% by the time we get there. And what's changed, our projection our actual, it's continued to slide a little bit. 64 projected, 66 miles in the tank, I guess you could call it. Just wanted to take a second to have a quick shout out to some YouTubers that we enjoy watching. First is Ben Sullins with Teslanomics, Joe Scott with Answers with Joe, and Zach and Jesse with Now You Know. So all these people are fantastic to watch. We're going to put links down below for their channels, and consider subscribing to them if you want to stay up to date with current events and what's happening in the Tesla community.
Hello, Ben, Joe, Zach, and Jesse.
We've made it back home. Have 27 miles left in the battery, and when we left we had 162 miles. It was a 130-mile trip, so that was really close to accurate within 5 miles. So really impressed with the range on the way back. On the way there, however, we did lose quite a bit. I'd say about 35 miles, 35 miles, and I think a lot of that was attributed to the headwind that we incurred on the way there. But as an EV owner, these are all things that you need to take into consideration when you're driving one of these cars. Weather is a huge factor. I mean, it was nice. It was 76, 78 degrees out, so good temperature. Batteries like that temperature. But when it's really cold outside or extremely hot, that can affect range. It also affects your regen rate. So all things to consider. You know, as one of the biggest things that I've noticed about owning an EV, this being our first, is, you know, range is important. And if I was going to do it again, I would definitely buy the longer range vehicle like we have now, because there's certain conditions where you're not going to get, I mean, you're not going to get 300 miles out of this car. It's just not going to happen. And you know, if you're living in an area that's spread out, or you're using it as your only mode for transportation, then, you know, having the longer range batteries a huge deal. So I'd buck up and get a longer range variant, depending on your situation. But I was really impressed with autopilot. Ever since the update, it's only gotten better, and you know, I'm feeling much more confident with it. It's really relaxing to drive with autopilot, and makes, you know, we didn't buy this car to be a trip vehicle, and we still have a gas car, but it's really fun to take this car on a road trip because of the autopilot, the great sound system. I mean, it's an amazing car to drive. So really enjoy road tripping with this vehicle. And, you know, with the new computer that's going to be coming out, I really look forward to putting that in this car. I think things are only going to get better. And the future that Elon's outlined for the full self-driving is almost mind-blowing. I mean, he's going at light speed with this stuff. And, you know, I think his time frame is extremely aggressive. And that's Elon. I mean, that's how he rolls. You know, he pushes a little further than, you know, he really pushes his people to step it up. And I think that's why he's going to continue to be so far ahead of the industry with his vehicles because of his aggressiveness. Sometimes I wish he wouldn't be so aggressive as a shareholder, because he's constantly missing his targets. But as an owner, you know, I can see why he does that. You know, he wants to paint the picture of a future that we all want to have, and he's done a great job. So anyways, thanks for tuning in and watching my first YouTube video, and I'll look forward to doing more of these with you guys. Anyways, talk to you later.